Morning. We've got our rudder off the chains, and I peeled the bag off it yesterday. Um, I've never seen epoxy that has gotten so incredibly hard after only about 20 hours. This stuff is solid as a rock. Normally you would have a green period for epoxy, 24 to 48 hours, where it's relatively pliable and you can do things like peel the parts apart, but this one's not going to cooperate, so we're going to have to try and cut it out. I apologize if it gets noisy. My neighbor's air conditioner is right behind me. It comes on every once in a while, but I'm going to use my cutoff wheel to cut along the manifold, which is basically solid epoxy right now, and we'll see if we can't get underneath the peel ply and begin to lift it up. Here you can see part of the epoxy manifold that I made, completely filled with epoxy. This stuff is super hard. Oh, brittle, because there's no reinforcement, but I've never seen epoxy get that hard. It's been about 48, no, not even about 40 hours since we infused it, and that's incredible. Shouldn't normally be this hard to get the part out of the bag with the peel ply, but I get a feeling this one's going to make me pay. This is going to be a bit of a struggle. There's just a small piece with the carbon fiber in it, if you can see that, but it's incredibly strong, just that little bit. I think it's only bending because it's so thin, but that's horrendously strong. Like maybe an eighth of an inch thick, and it's just unreal. If you ever need a testament to the strength of epoxy, this is the epoxy that was left in the feed manifold. It's about 1/4 inch in diameter. It's been cut partway through with the cutoff wheel, and this stuff is incredibly strong. Oops, not that part, this part. I can't break it. That's incredible. Maybe not as strong as steel, but it's pretty damn good. So anyways, I've been able to get under the one corner and lift the peel pie, and I'm going to pull off a strip here, then try and work my way across. I don't know if you remember before I talked about the tracer lines that were in the peel ply. That's the direction you want to pull, because that's where the strength of the peel ply is. If you tried to pull across, it would just fall to pieces. You wouldn't get anything out of it. So let's just rip this off and see what we come up with. So there's our fresh surface, just peeled off. Boy, that was stuck on there, something fierce. One of the advantages of using the vacuum bag is the amount of pressure that you can get on your layup. And given the total surface area of this rudder, I roughly calculated out that there was about 21,000 pounds of clamping force on the entire part. So that's approximately 17.6 pounds per square inch, which is atmospheric pressure down on the part, and it was totally encircled by that same pressure. So we're going to keep at it for a while. The edges are going to be a bit of a challenge. One of the things that happened is, because the carbon fiber wasn't really wrapped very tight, is the pressure of the vacuum bag has forced it out into this little flange area. That's not really a bad thing, it's just going to be a bit of a bugger getting to the peel ply on the other side. I basically used my needle nose pliers to grab a hold of the reinforcement and peeled it back like a can of sardines. Again, this is really tough. It's probably 90 degrees in the boat shed today, even warmer outside, so I had to move inside. My cell phone overheated, but I'm just continuing to peel off the peel ply, and this is the sardine can method. This probably would have been a good time to invest in what's called a release film, designed specifically to go between your main reinforcement layers and your peel ply, and release the part from the vacuum bag a lot easier. I think it's an extra expense. One of the problems I have with this method is the amount of consumables that get thrown away at the end. The peel ply, the flow media, the mastic tape, the resin lines, the fittings, and the vacuum line, because I didn't put a small trap in it, are all garbage. That's why I haven't used this. I considered doing the entire inside of the hull this way, but when I calculated the cost to actually put all of that in place, the time to set it up, the bag itself would have been over $400. Now, if you're really careful, you can probably reuse the bag. This stretch-along is reusable, but probably not on this type of application. So I'm just going to go and continue and peel all this off, and I'll come back later and show you what the bare rudder looks like. Got the first side opened up. Didn't turn out too bad. A couple of little errors. Pretty good crease here. Don't know what I'm going to do that. It's standing pretty proud, so I think I'm going to have to sand it down, which sucks because I'll be cutting the reinforcement fibers, but I'll lay a patch over it. I don't think I can fair over it. It's too high. Again, you can see there'll be a lot of grinding along the edges and the corners. They didn't turn out too bad though. There's a lot of excess material on the corners, which isn't too bad. I'll just flip it over and do the other side, and we'll have one more look before I wrap this up. comes off a lot easier in small strips. But boy, is that stuff tenacious. I mean, it is stuck on there. It's a good thing it's not a cosmetic part. It's a good thing I'm not applying for a job in a composite shop, because I'm sure if I did this kind of work for a living, I would be homeless, broke. It's not exactly turning out as I thought it would, but by the time we're done with it, no one will see it. We'll ferret out all of my mistakes, and nobody will know the wiser, except me, and you guys, now that you've seen it. But I'm positive it's going to be strong. If I was doing this for a cosmetic part, I probably would have used a release film to get the part to come out a heck of a lot easier. There are parts of it which aren't bad, and you can see the pattern of the twill running throughout the part. I don't think for cosmetic work they would use a peel ply. It leaves a really rough surface, about the same as a sanded 80 grit surface. But you could sand it and polish it, I guess. Not that I'm going to do that. It was definitely the wrong material, but I'm not doing it over again, so it is what it is. Could this part have been made by conventional hand layup? Most certainly, and probably would have produced just as acceptable a job, but it wouldn't have been nearly as much fun. It probably wouldn't have provided nearly as much video entertainment for you guys and gals. I had the equipment, I had the materials, so what the heck, it's cool. It's a neat process to watch. There you have it. There's the bag off the part. Now the real work begins. Thanks for looking in. We appreciate everybody that comes to our channel. If you liked what you saw in the last couple of videos, give us a thumbs up, share us on your social media pages, whatever. We've gained another 7 subscribers in the last week and a half, which is great. If you leave a comment, I'll answer it. We appreciate it. If you have a question, I'll try and answer it. I'm not an expert. I'm just a backyard hacker. But if you enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up. Thanks for looking in. Bye-bye. This episode was not brought to you by Tim Hortons. Thank you, dear. I have the most wonderful wife in the world.